What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Badminton Experience. I lost count. Episode number
61.
After a little layoff, let's call it a summer holiday.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
And this is the Get Back Together podcast.
Yeah. We are going to be a bit rusty. It's not going to be a great episode. So yeah, you might as well just leave already. No, don't do that.
We have some interesting things coming up. For sure. It will be a good episode, but we just need to get into it first.
It's actually been a bit difficult to choose today's topics because since we have been on vacation for so long, I mean, so much has happened and so many news and so many players that we could touch on, and coaches even, and tournaments, and we haven't even talked about the Olympics or anything. So, I mean, there's so much that we could...
Yeah. The latest episode we did was preview for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense to go through the entire Olympics, but I'm pretty sure there will be some of the viewers out there that will be disappointed that we're not mentioning a specific player, but we won't get through everyone and everything that's happened since the Olympics.
We're past the Olympics.
We are.
Finally. I mean, it's... one thing that was a bit weird for me personally after the Olympics was the fact that everything has been about the Olympics for so long. You know, first it's the Olympic qualification period, which is more than 1 year prior to the actual tournament. So it's just for so long, it's what everyone's talking about. And even now, post, matches, you get asked about if you're going to aim for 2028 and how is your preparation towards that going to be. And it's just wow, guys, let's leave the Olympics for a few years and let's talk about it, let's say in 2 or 3 years maybe. But it's insane. Already it's the topic once again.
It goes fast.
But not in this episode.
No. We will focus on other stuff.
Okay. So what are we going to focus on, Hans Christian?
I still think you the top point you made on our talking points was post Olympics.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just take that first and round off what you mean by that. I'm actually not quite sure if there was a specific thing you wanted to discuss. Not really.
Not really, no.
Not really.
Not
okay.
really. I mean, it's been a hectic period.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks post the Olympics, it all started again. Japan Open, followed up by Korea Open, and then the two, was it China and Hong Kong?
Hong Kong first and then China.
Yeah, and
now back into Arctic Open, Denmark Open.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy schedule. Some would argue that maybe a little longer, layoff would have been great for many players.
Yeah.
I know that there's many players who are struggling with, being a bit fatigued post the Olympics, because mentally, especially mentally, it drags a lot out of you.
Yeah. I think we also see that from a few of the winners, so Zheng Shiwei, Huang Yaqiong, for example. We're not really seeing them playing that. There's a few of the players that did well at the Olympics where we see they are actually taking a bit of a break now. Yeah. There's also some players where when you see them play now, you feel like maybe it was a better idea if they took a small break maybe, and they need that break that you're talking about. It's kind of then of course there are players like yourself that are probably a bit disappointed with how you did at the Olympics, and you maybe just want to get back into it and take advantage of all the training you did and stuff. So I think it's a classic period of post Olympics where you see some players losing it a little bit and others really looking more motivated. And if I can just single out two that I think are quite impressive in terms of this, I know they didn't play the Olympics, but I think it's pretty cool to see that still Ahsan and Setiawan, they are there for all the tournaments and they just play, and when you see them play, it looks like they still enjoy it just as much. So this week they played in the Arctic Open, lost second round to Skårup and Rasmussen. And when you see them play, it's just they're having so much fun, and I think it's pretty impressive. They can just keep going and doing it year after year after year.
It is pretty crazy that they just keep on going. But I mean, they did not play the Olympics, so they are not struggling from post-Olympic trauma or depression or emptiness or whatever you can experience. But yeah, I mean, they are like a different case, but it is insane. I mean, I would like to talk to one of them and ask, for how long are you going to keep going?
I think for as long as they still can win some matches and they can still compete, then I'm sure they will keep on going. They seem like they just enjoy it. I mean, so why stop?
Yeah, exactly. If that's really what you just enjoy to do more than anything else in the world, it would be sad if it was because they needed the income from playing badminton, and therefore they were forced to travel around the world and play these tournaments, and they didn't want to do it, but I don't think that's the case. No. They should have like plenty of money in the bank, and they have achieved everything that they need to achieve. So hopefully it's really just because it is the most fun thing for them in the world to do, and I respect that if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure.
Because many people might have an opinion like, dude, you're over the hill, you're not as good as you were. So just retire. But I mean, who should tell anyone what to do? If
I completely agree, but we heard that so many times also with Lin Dan in the past, like that he should maybe have retired a bit sooner, and we hear it with a lot of the big players. But I completely share your belief that it's up to the player. If they want to keep on playing, they shouldn't care about what everyone else is thinking about the legacy they leave behind. Because I think Ahsan and Setiawan, even if they lose more early rounds now than they did in the past, they will still leave a pretty impressive legacy. I don't think anyone will remember them as guys that lost early rounds. They will remember them as the guys that won lots of world championships and Asian championships and All Englands and all these kind of big titles. I hope so.
Hopefully. But that's a good question. Let's say they play for 6 to 8 years where they are not near their best. You might start to forget about their run of being
and
real impressive.
The younger generation probably.
It might is a little bit the same with Kento Momota. You kind of like forget how insane he was when he was dominating. Because I mean, it's a forgettable game. I mean, you just think about has been happened recently, and I don't know.
Yeah, he wasn't great in the last couple of years.
No,
for sure.
I mean, you also see it in other sports like fighting, for instance. Someone like a boxer or an MMA fighter that just keeps on going, and they're like over the hill. They start to lose over and over and over again, and I think I wouldn't say destroys their legacy, but it hurts their legacy just a tiny bit, I would say. But I don't know.
But is it important or not? Like, is it important to keep your legacy and then stop a few years before?
No.
What you want to do?
No.
For me, not.
Definitely not. You should do whatever you want to do. And I mean, everyone is going to get forgotten about. I mean, eventually.
That's true.
Is it it's just like, is it after 1 year, or is it after 5 years, or is it after 50 years? I mean,
that's true.
In 100 years, none of us are here.
We're not really that important.
No one talks about
no.
the greatest badminton players in 2010. I mean, so obviously do whatever you want to do and have fun, enjoy the ride. One thing I wanted to mention, speaking of the post-Olympic like emptiness, I felt that for like a couple of days, like the next few days post the Olympics, like waking up and I was like, what now? I mean, it's because it's been everything that everyone has been talking about, and it's been this major goal that me personally, I was also like chasing this goal for so long, so it was a bit weird, like. But I kind of enjoyed the fact that there was tournaments right away because, as you mentioned, I have been putting in so much work. I was in shape, so I was motivated just to get going. And for me, the Olympics wasn't a success, so I just wanted to get rid of that like memory and just move on. And this was a great opportunity because there were so many tournaments right away.
I think that's an advantage for badminton compared to some of the other Olympic sports. Like if you compare it to the less commercial ones, like I think often
Yeah.
for those athletes, if they lose early and they know that it's like there's 6 months for the next European Championships or World Championships, it must be a lot harder. I think I saw some study in Denmark that about 1/4 of all the athletes get this kind of Olympic blues actually.
Yeah.
After the Olympics.
Yeah, it is a thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're back. Now you're back.
Now
and
we are
one
back.
thing that we want to discuss that is a little bit post-Olympics, but also not completely. But you wrote down coaches, that we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I think it actually, because the Olympics is done, and as you say, big goal for everyone, and it's what you're building towards, it seems like also a lot of federations and coaches are thinking, okay, now is also a good time to maybe try something else, go a different direction. So there's a lot of breakups between federations and coaches and players and coaches. And I just want to start with the most like obvious one, since I'm sitting here with you. So you are now with a new coach.
Yeah, I am. With
And that's a guy
coach.
you know really, really well. So how is that being coached by your brother now?
Correct. I hired my brother as my new coach. Just recently, though, we have only been working together for a couple of weeks. So he joined me for 1 week of training in Dubai. And then we actually went straight to Arctic Open this week. So we have only been like working together for a few weeks, but like really, really working together where he is like on payroll and stuff. But prior to that, we have also been working together, but it was more like, hey, Kasper, do you have time tomorrow to come and help me with a training session and stuff like that? So
just here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been, I mean, it's brand new, but so far it's been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes time for him and I to get like, I don't know, adjusted to each other and just being on equal playing field. Like we need to figure out a bunch of stuff like what should I develop? How should the tournament season look? What is the goals for the upcoming year or years? What is like the strategies that all my opponent is trying to use against me, and all that stuff we need to like experience out of tournaments, talk about it a lot, so like get in sync, or what do you say?
Yeah, that's a good term to use.
But we spend a lot of time together now, even more time together, so I think that process is going to be pretty quick. So the more we talk, the more we evaluate the matches, and the faster that will go. But
did you already do that before as well, when you were still with Joachim? Did you also use Kasper sometimes to like talk about matches and stuff like that? Yeah, we did. He was definitely one of the guys that I was talking to the most when it comes to, you know, my games, and I know he's always been watching all my matches. So, but now it's just a little bit more. But yeah, we did that prior as well. I mean, I saw him kind of like an assistant coach before. So he was also kind of an obvious choice for you when you needed a new one. That Kasper was an obvious choice to go to.
Yeah. I mean, I was considering different options, but I was kind of leaning towards Kasper all the time. So yeah, I think I kind of like knew also that it was something that he really wanted as well. I got the feeling that it was something that he had been like hoping for a little bit, that someday it could happen, that we could work closer together, because he wasn't really hard to convince, and apparently he had already like talked to his girlfriend about it, like
if it was a possibility with the travel and all this kind of stuff.
If this scenario ever would play out, how could that work and stuff? I mean, before all this, I needed to hire him, so I knew that this was something that he also wanted as well, and I'm not going to play forever, so this is like an unique opportunity to work closer together.
It's also not like he's coming from like being out of the sport in any way. He was also coaching in Denmark before he got hired by you, but it's
I mean, he's
also
been playing as well. He was also, for those who don't know, Kasper was a men's double player.
Used to play with the guy behind the camera.
Used to play with Oliver. They won the under 19 junior championships. He played a few years on the Super Series level, maybe. And then the federation kicked him out because he was shit. No, they didn't believe in him. So that's the truth, actually. They kicked him out. And just after that, he decided to retire. He didn't go independent and tried to start up his own like training setup.
No.
So he retired and became a coach pretty quickly after that. So he's been coaching juniors, helping out on the senior level in the club as well.
Yeah.
And also he's been coaching a few days every morning on a few days a week on Peter Gates Academy. So he's been pretty active as a coach, and obviously been close connected to me for a long time as well. So, but it's way different. I mean, from what he used to do to what he's doing now. I mean, it's a big jump in level for sure. So. Yeah,
definitely. But I'm sure he also sees it as a big opportunity. It's not every day like the world number 3 comes knocking at your door and asking if you could be interested.
I mean, it's a big opportunity for him also to grow as a coach, I'm sure, and he will learn an awful lot from our time working together, I'm sure. And after when I'm done and when he and I are done working together, I'm sure that other players or juniors or whatever can benefit from all the knowledge. Federations, all the knowledge that he's going to gain from this period of time. So, yeah,
it's going to be interesting to follow. Like you didn't get the best start, like you're...
No, we lost our very first match together. We lost our very first match together. Yeah. So, I'm considering other options. No,
we won't be judging anything so quickly, but it's going to be really interesting to follow.
I told him, like, post the match, because I lost at the Arctic Open just like 4 days ago in the first round. And that was my first match together with Casper. I told him that kind of like the fact that we start from the bottom. Like we lose our first match, it's only up from here, unless we keep on losing first rounds. But
that's possible.
But it is highly likable that it's upwards from here. So I kind of like that. New beginning from the bottom. Here we go.
You start winning next week.
Then hopefully.
That's the deal.
But that's my coaching situation. But there has also been like
a lot of other coaching
situations that's interesting at the moment. First of all, Kenneth Jonassen, the head coach for Denmark for the previous 11 years, has announced that by the end of this year he is done.
And there's already rumors about where he's going.
Because I mean, just a few weeks after that, Malaysia announced that Hendrawan, also a coach that has been there for many, many years, is going to retire from BAM.
True. So there are rumors now that Kenneth is one of the options for BAM.
But there were a few different options.
They also mentioned Muljo Handoyo, the guy who used to coach Taufik. He's also been in India for a while. I think he was with Srikant, actually, when Srikant was at his best.
Okay.
Or at least for a small period of time.
What has he been doing for the previous years?
I'm actually not sure. I just read an article about it today. I think one of the concerns is his age. I think he's like 63 or 64. So he's maybe already a little bit old in this kind of business, but he has a proven track record of players that has performed well under him. But it's going to be a big change for Danish badminton. It's a lot of years, 11, and Kenneth, even before he became the head coach, he was also in the federation for a couple of years as assistant coach before going to England and then coming back. And it's like, one thing is like who's going to take over as a singles coach in Denmark, but also who's going to be the head coach, because Kenneth, he had the responsibility for all the men's singles, but he was also like the head coach of the entire coaching team and the entire team. So there's it's some big shoes that someone needs to fill out. And
what a resume that he leaves behind. I mean, he's been there during the whole of Victor's career, so he's been winning everything that Victor has been winning. He's been winning as a coach. I mean, also with you and with Jan and with me and Rasmus and the Thomas Cup. And Kenneth has been there through through everything. So
and also Christina and Camilla in the women's doubles, who he was also the main coach for.
Yeah,
who won All England,
correct.
Olympic silver. And it's like, it's really impressive. Really impressive.
Super impressive, and what a great coach. I mean, he is. He's been my only ever national coach. He's been there ever since I started practicing on the national training center. So it's going to be weird. The fact that Kenneth is not there. It's going to be quite sad. I believe it's going to be a very emotional farewell. Like the last training he has on the training center is going to be emotional. But yeah, I mean, I understand him totally. I mean, after so many years, you want to try something new. You want to challenge yourself in other ways or whatever. I don't know exactly what his mindset is, but it makes sense that you at some point you need to try all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also the timing is quite good in terms of, like, he has the men's singles and they need to kind of build up something new at the national center now with you and Victor not there. Obviously, I know there's still Gemke, but besides him, it's a lot of like young guys that they need to try and build up and see if they can break into the world tour level and world class level. So in that way, it's it's an interesting time to come in for someone new, because they don't come in with the expectations of like winning Olympics and winning world championships with the current players. They can build up something from I wouldn't say from scratch, but like build up something on their own and not come in with too much of pressure to perform straight away.
I think many federations sees, just post an Olympic like an opportunity to start from new and like make a 4-year plan leading up to the next Olympics. Like how should we build our program? The younger generations, how should we help them towards the top? So interesting, a clean slate for many federations. Another one was I saw Wang Chun Han, who is in Hong Kong now. He got he's the head coach now. Where
that was fast. I didn't know.
Before he was only like the men's singles coach. Yeah. Now he's the head coach in Hong Kong, and I think he's only been there for 1 year.
Yeah, it hasn't been long.
So I don't know what that means. If that means they need to get a new men's singles coach, or
if he can do both, kind of like Kenneth did.
I'm not totally sure about that. No, but yeah, very interesting.
Well, that was also a quick rise for him actually after just 1 year, because I remember he went there because the Tat Meng, who was coaching the men's singles before, he was hired by Li Xijia like 1 year before the Olympics, and then Wang Chung Han went the other way. But we need to talk about one more guy who is also one of the, over the last many years, most influential head coaches.
Yeah,
Yobong Park.
From Japan?
From Japan, yeah. So he is from Korea, but he's been coaching in Japan for the past, 10, 15 years. He's also stopping. So the federation didn't give him an extension. So I don't know if if that basically is a firing or what, but his contract will run out and won't be extended, which for me is extremely surprising, because Yobong Park is the guy who took Japan from being just a good badminton country to being one of the very best. So over the past, I would say 5-10 years, there's only China who's been better than Japan. If you look across all disciplines, they have had so much success in all the categories basically, and they didn't before he came. Before that, it was a lot of good players but no real top players. So I really think he has transformed Japanese badminton. So I was very surprised to see that his contract was not going to be prolonged or extended.
As far as
you're concerned, or
no, not concerned, but what aware that might be the right word. There's there's something going on out in Japan, and I think it's something with their funding.
Yeah, I read about that before the Olympics.
I think they have way less funding now, and I think Park was I think he had a good salary. I assume he was not a cheap guy having around. So
he's had success also, and he was in England and also Malaysia before. So,
what I've heard is that they are going to give more like responsibility or more power to the clubs or to the regions or something.
Yeah, clubs. They have
to the
these.
clubs, and they're not going to practice so much together in their federation. I think it's already been like that in Japan, but I think maybe it's going to be even more like that.
Yeah.
So an example is that you saw the players before they needed to play with their with the sponsor of the national team. But now you see a guy like, I mean, you see all the guys, I guess, but Kodai played China Open Super 1000 with his personal sponsor Victor. So I think that means that there's not so much funding coming from the federation anymore. It's more like make your own sponsorship deals, or maybe it's from the clubs or something. But there is some structural changes going on in Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very interesting. I also feel like there is more and more players going independent from Malaysia.
Yeah.
Like you saw just post the Olympics that Aaron and Seoul, they announced that they had signed a deal with BAM. And I had just never seen that before, like they signed a deal with BAM. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they usually do that. I think that was one of the big issues with Li Shijia when he left also, that he had a contract with BAM.
Okay.
I think it's pretty normal for the players there to sign contracts with BAM.
Okay, but this one seemed like they made like their own individual deal.
Okay.
Where I thought that maybe all the players were on like close to the same terms. When it comes to like salary and support and stuff. This just seemed a bit like, I've never seen anyone like announce like we are extending with the federation in the way they did. But I'm not too sure about all that.
Maybe that's true. Maybe that's a signal that you're saying if a lot of players are leaving, then this is also a way to signal that we can still keep the best guys here to like show everyone that.
I heard some rumors that, I mean, when I was out there practicing in BAM, they had like a big group of guys. They were like 8 to 10 singles players, and I've heard that they are down to maybe like 4 or 6.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about it. I don't want to start rumors or anything, but I guess it also comes down to funding. Like, and if they make one type of deal with a doubles pair that maybe takes a lot of the money away from, I don't know.
You need to get the money from somewhere else.
If they make individual deals, I don't know if they do that. But I just heard that, and also the men's double, what is their name? Go and
Isudin.
Yeah. They just went independent post the Olympics, and they have done amazing.
Yeah, they are doing pretty well. They are doing pretty well. Right now, as we are taping this, they are playing the semi-final of the Arctic Open.
And they won the China Open and won the Japan Open. So
it's not bad.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
But it will be very interesting to see if it's Kenneth who's going to be the coach for Malaysia. And one thing that I've been thinking about is, because I've experienced like both ways of training, and it's so different.
Yeah.
So let's say they hire Kenneth. Is it then because they want him to implement like his own style totally? Or should he adapt to the way they train in Malaysia? Because that is so different.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking kind of like, if they just want him to do whatever they have always been doing for many, many, many years, then what's the point really in hiring him?
Yeah.
You get
yeah, I completely follow. I've been thinking the same, that it's gonna be like a huge shock, both for the players but also for Kenneth to make that transition. I feel pretty confident that if they hire him, they are also open to let him implement his ideas. But on the other hand, I also don't believe that you can take like Kenneth's system in Denmark and like copy it 1-to-1 and put it into the Malaysian system. So I think he will also need to do some adjusting.
Definitely. I think he would need to bow down on a lot of his ways of doing things, because it's just like a whole structure that's been built over so many years. I mean, a way of doing things that he cannot just come in and implement the Danish way. I don't think that's possible. But interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Let's see what's going to happen. It's it's cool.
Yeah.
If you were to be a coach, would you rather be like like a head coach for like a whole, like let's say you were hired in Denmark or whatever country, and you were the main guy for the men's singles category, like you had a group of 6 to 8, 10 players, or would you rather be like, let's say Victor, Lakshya Sindhu, Lisidjar, like an independent player hired you?
Yeah.
What would you find like the most interesting?
I think I would prefer the job where I was the head coach for more players, because I feel like that's where I could make a bigger difference. Like if I was hired by you or Victor or Lakshya or whatever, it's for me a lot of small details that we will be working on, where I feel like if you took over a big group at the national center, for example, you have a lot of young guys that you need to try and help, where it's like bigger leaps you need to take to become world class. And I think that path towards becoming world class player is, I believe that would be pretty interesting to be part of. I think it would also be interesting to be part of coaching a world class player, and it would be nice to be able to experience the Olympics and World Championships finals and all this kind of stuff that I never got to do as a player. But I think the other,
you could experience that. I mean, both ways.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the other is maybe a little bit more rewarding in terms of my own development, also where I am right now. But
I could see the very interesting task in like managing like a system, like trying to. I mean, when you see these documentaries like The Last Dance, I think it's very, very interesting. You know, the different aspects of like building a franchise. There's like the sporting aspect, and then there's like the management aspect, and it all needs to like work together in order to build a franchise. And it's very interesting. But let's say you were like a head coach for a federation, it also comes with all that stuff. So it's not just being down in the hall from 8 to 10 in the morning, then you sit on the office for 4 or 5 hours, and then you go and have another training session. It's a lot of work, whereas if you only had to like manage me, it's a whole different like job description. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I guess it depends on the individual. I could see the interesting in both.
Yeah, for sure. I also
tasks, but
say that both jobs are definitely interesting.
It's also pretty fragile just only to have one player. Let's say I become
injured for a long time, or
something like that. Then your income totally relies on one player. And what if you piss me off? So I just fire you. And
I would need to be in a contract where I have like a minimum of 1 year's salary if I get fired.
I guess that's why, let's say the football coaches, they have this crazy clause. They just get paid even though they get fired, because they get fired all the time. So I guess they need the insurance.
Security. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, let's stay tuned to the coaching situation around the world and see what will go down.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Definitely. Let's move on to some player talk.
Yeah, we have noted a few players that we wanted to talk about, and you, Hans Christian, you have the first guy.
Yeah, the first one I wanted to talk about is partly because he's been getting, I would say, his big breakthrough. We've seen him for a long time, but I think he really had his breakthrough at Japan Open. And now you also just played him yourself, so I thought it would be quite interesting to hear your take on Alex Lanier, of course. So he won the Japan Open, which was very impressive. I don't even think he had a good draw or anything.
No, he really beat a difficult lineup.
Yeah, exactly. So all the matches was world-class opponents, all the way through, and I think he was really impressive. And now he beat you again in Arctic Open.
He did.
First round?
Unfortunately, yes.
First round, yeah.
First round,
of course. So obviously I also played him, but it's a couple of years ago, and I'm sure he's developed a lot. So I would just like to hear, like, what do you think has made the difference for him now? Like, why is he winning Japan Open all of a sudden, and not as before, maybe playing one good match here or there? Like, do you see a difference in his game compared to 1 year ago?
I can't talk too much about the Japan Open because I did not see anything from it.
Okay, fair enough.
I was super busy with a lot of other stuff. Let's just say that. But
I
no,
know you played
Alex
him now.
Lanier. I just played him a few days ago. Alex Lanier, 19 years old, from France. Not the tallest guy, a little bit short, but super strong still. Very, very strong. I've heard that his father is built kind of like the same.
It's crazy.
Like a robust guy, super like a compact guy.
I saw him in the French league last season.
Okay.
His dad, and without offending him, not the best technique, but his calves, they were crazy, like crazy.
So I think Alex has, first of all, some good genetics. It's not easy to become that strong in such a young age. And the thing is, he's 19 now, but he was also super strong when he was 16, 17 years old. So no, for sure, he had his big breakthrough in Japan Open, defeated like a very strong lineup of players. Cho Chen Chin, Dizija, Shi Yuqi, who else?
I don't remember all, but I remember those.
A few more, and all of them was like tough opponents. I'm sure. I would say. I mean, he's just strong. He just moves well. He's just he's really able to add a lot of pace. He's very aggressive, but he's also kind of strong in the defense. But I would say overall, just he's like his pace, the way he like grinds, and he's just.
I heard some comparisons to Jan Jørgensen. Would you agree that it's a little bit similar? No. I completely agree with you, but I just heard it a few times, and I don't think it's too similar. But I think it's because some of them feel that he's very fast moving forward, so like from the back and forward, which was for sure also one of the things that Jan was very good at, especially at a young age. But I feel Alex is maybe a bit more physical than Jan was in terms of like it's more power, where Jan I felt like he was just fast. It's not that Alex is not fast, but I just don't feel like it's fast in the way that he's like reaching everything really high and just.
It's a different way of being fast, I would say. I think one thing with Alex is because he's so strong and it looked like his calves and his legs in general is super strong. He's really quick at like let's say someone catches him off guard with a disguise on the net or something. He's really quick at like correcting his footwork and then like reaching the shuttle. And I think that it comes down to the fact that he's so strong in like his calves and but I mean it's he's a little bit different. It's not like I mean it's so different from a guy like Momota. I mean the way Momota plays and flows around the court, Alex does not look like that. No. He's more like maybe a bit like yourself, maybe like just rough.
Yeah.
You know, playing with a lot of pace. He's very strong in his arm, his legs, and adding a lot of pace to the game. But his finesse is also very good. I mean, he can do many different strokes, and he's kind of sharp at the net as well. So
it just doesn't look so smooth. So like when
I
remember when I played him in German Open, it was one of the things I was surprised about because I felt like when I just saw him, I didn't think that he was gonna like be super sharp and like play with a nice touch and finesse, as you say. And I remember every time he hit attacks, first of all, I thought it was a little bit difficult to actually see what kind of attacks he hit. And every time he moved forward, I was always struggling to see what comes now, because it's always in like the last moment. I feel like he's actually executing,
and I think that's because he's very, very strong, so he has a way of like in the very last moment in his strokes he can do whatever he wants because he's super strong. You see it in the way he lifts, and you also see it from the rare court sometimes, like he has this very quick execution. Also in the defense, like he can play it long on a smash or
where he's maybe not in good position, but he's strong enough.
But he's just super strong, so he can play to the baseline once again. So it's a lot of raw power, not like Momota style, like smooth and finesse, but he still has a lot of finesse in his game, I would say. But very different
Yeah.
It's different style from many guys, but obviously, I mean, I was talking to my former coach Joachim about who is going to be like who is the world ranking top 10. What's that going to look like in the next in 4 years from now, just post this Olympics? And I said that I think Alex Lanier is the guy to watch out for. He's going to be very interesting to follow. I did not expect that it was going to happen like that, because right away, I think in Canada, was he in the final or semifinal? Then he won the Japan Open, and now he's in the semifinal. No, he lost.
He lost just a quarterfinal of Arctic, but played well once.
But
again.
But he's already arrived for sure to the highest level. Beat it. I mean, Shi Yuqi and myself and Vitidsarn and Chou Chen. So
for so long, all the talk with the French men's singles has been like between Thomas and Christo, like in terms of who qualified. Like it's not that no one has said that Alex is coming or anything, but like all of a sudden in a span of like 2-3 months, he's for sure the number one from France. Like you cannot say that Thomas or Christo has achieved anything like winning the Japan Open. They're still absolutely great players, but it's just it took 2 months, and then all of a sudden I would say now it's Alex who's the guy you need to look out for of those three for sure.
It'll be interesting to follow his progress from here.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Yes, let's do it.
I have a question.
Ooh.
How many brand deals has Kunlavut Vitidsarn done post the Olympics? Have you seen his Instagram page? It is insane.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I want to count how many he has done, because I feel like it's every single day.
Yeah.
He's posting a new ad for some shampoo or.
But I kind of feel like it already started after he won the World Championships. And then it has just like exploded since after the Olympics.
12, 13,
so he's
14,
counting.
15, 16, 17, 18. And then, there's a few just before the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
I mean, every post that he makes is like a new ad for here is a lemon soda. Here's that's a cool one. That's Omega, but I guess that's something to do with the Olympic. Here's like some face cream and I don't know, what is this.
I don't know.
Telephone company.
It looks like 5G. Yeah.
I mean,
so he's making money. He's making money.
I mean,
which is completely deserved. So like world champion, Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah. He's really what do you say, capitalized on his position now.
Yeah.
But I must say I'm not a big fan of his strategy on the social.
Just taking everything in.
I mean, if he's making $100,000 on each of these posts, fair enough.
Yeah.
If he's making $5,000-$10,000 on each post, I'm not so sure. And I don't know what he's making, but I mean,
we will need to get him on the podcast and ask. I don't think he will reveal it, but we need to.
I've seriously considered like what you can like turn off
notifications.
So I would still follow him, but I won't see his posts because. And I actually texted him a few times, or I commented on some of his posts, like, bro. First time was like, bro, have you even done any brand deals post the Olympics? And then the next one was like, bro, now it's getting out of hand.
Did he reply?
Yeah, I think he replied on the last one. I didn't really understand what he said.
Okay,
but he's a fun guy.
He is.
He has a great sense of humor, also on the court. You see him smile sometimes, and he's a good guy. But whoever's managing his social media accounts,
they need to step up the game.
It loses value a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if I had a brand, I wouldn't want to pay him for a post, because I know he's doing like 20 posts after that.
Obviously he's still getting a lot of offers, so they don't seem to care.
Yeah, he's making great money, so good for him. Good for him. But that was actually just it about Kunlavut. There was
nothing about his badminton. It was just about his Instagram.
He's a different, like, he's a tricky guy to figure out.
Yeah,
just post the Olympics. How is he been doing? It's like a bit up and down. How did he do he lost in the semifinal in China?
I don't know. I
He
didn't prepare for him because I didn't know that we were going to talk about him. So sorry, guys.
He didn't play in Japan. He was there to do some sponsorship stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't play in Korea.
He's playing Arctic Open, where he's in the semifinal against Christie.
Yeah, good match.
So at the time people are watching this, that match has already been concluded. But yeah, I think like ever since he won the World Championships, he had quite a slump of form, and then we really saw the real Kunlavut back at the Olympics.
Actually, my brother told me yesterday that because right now the World Junior Championships is going on as well.
Yeah.
And in the semifinal, Kunlavut's little sister is playing.
And she lost.
She lost the semifinal.
She was seeded 1, but she lost to a Chinese girl.
Damn it.
Yeah, so it's an all Chinese women's singles final.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even knew that he had a
me neither.
Sister.
I just noticed the last name that it was Vitidsarn. So
I just know that he is the king of World Junior Championships. So it could have been fun if she claimed another one to the Vitidsarn family.
Yeah. I saw another fun fact from the World Junior Championships. The youngest ever semi-finalist, a Malaysian.
Mr. Badminton.
Mr. Badminton, he's dead. No, he's alive. He's alive. A Malaysian girl just made the final of, I think it was women's doubles now.
Okay.
She was already in the semi-final. She was the youngest ever. She beat the record of Ratchanok Intanon. So like she was 14 years and 51 days old.
That's young. So she has like 4 or 5 World Junior Championships left.
Yeah, so that's quite impressive.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, that was just a side note.
Shi Yuqi.
We go with him now, yeah.
The world number 1 in men's single. He did not have the best Olympics, and ever since that he's been a little bit difficult to figure out. I've heard some rumors that he is having pain in his ankle, and he's been having pain for many years, he's saying. So, do you know anything that I don't?
I don't know anything, but I also have this feeling with him now that we spoke about like Olympic blues before, that I also feel like he looks not really interested in playing. So like already at the Olympics it looked a little bit weird, but like he also had a really tough draw playing Kunlavut as the first real match. I know he had a group match, but it didn't really matter because of the level. And I feel like when we saw him play after the Olympics, it's like he doesn't want to be on court. And I'm always also thinking back to when he pulled out of that Thomas Cup match against Momota, where he was down 25, pulled out and ended up getting a 1-year ban. Like he's always had these kind of periods where it's kind of like, I think his mentality is a bit different from most other top players. So I don't know if he has this in him that we've seen from former world number ones, that they can keep the motivation for dominating for a long time and long stretches of time. Like now he achieved the world number 1. He beat Victor off the top ranking. Then he had the big goal of the Olympics. It didn't go as planned. And I could just see a situation where it's just his mentality is not really to keep dominating again and get back into the grind. I don't know if it's true, but
maybe it's just for like a couple of months.
He's up and down with his mentality quite often.
Yeah, that's
but maybe I'm reading too much into it.
No, that might be true, but we just talked about that post-Olympic like emptiness is a thing. So maybe maybe he's kind of disappointed about the Olympics, and he just needed to like process that. I mean, that can take a few months, I guess. And maybe he's back to his absolute best in 2025, but maybe he's having like severe pain in that ankle, and that's, I can imagine it being super demotivating and tough to having to play and practice and push yourself every day with a lot of pain. So I don't know how he's feeling and what the situation is with his ankle, but I can understand how that could be difficult to keep on going if you have severe pain somewhere. Definitely. And you can do that for a certain amount of time, but then you need to like have a break just to like not feel that pain all the time. So
because he needs to be able to push himself in training. If he cannot do that, you cannot maintain being the number 1 guy. For sure not.
But he found a way different level of consistency this year for sure. I mean, he was
Definitely.
dominating world number one. He was so solid. And
he is still world number one.
The thing with Shi Yuqi is like he won the All England, was it like back in 2017 or 2018? So he's also been here forever. I mean, but the level of consistency that he reached this year was different.
I remember I saw a clip from after the Olympics, after he lost. He was in the studio. I think it was along with Chen Yufei and then Lin Dan also. And they were being interviewed by this Chinese TV host. And obviously it was subtitled. So the TV host was asking him about retirement because he lost this one, and would he still be playing? And Lin Dan kind of stepped in and defended both him and also Chen Yufei and said it was not the right time to think about it, and they needed to go back home and figure out, do they have the motivation to keep pushing for LA as well. So we'll see if he comes back in 2025. I really hope it, because as you say, like, his level this year has been crazy, and I think it's really refreshing to see that we don't have Victor at the top just like winning everything for certain, but we have a guy actually pushing him and actually managed to knock him off that number one spot. I think we will see Victor probably back in number one again, but I think it's quite refreshing to see someone knocking at the door for that number one spot.
For sure.
So I would like to see him back.
Yeah.
At his best.
I think we'll see him back.
We hope so.
Unless he's having so much pain, but if not, I think he just needs a couple of months to chill, relax. He's not coming for Denmark Open either, so he has like 1.5 months from China Open to the next tournaments. So
we will discuss again in 2025 about Shi Yuqi. We'll give him time.
Let's do that. What else, Hans Christian? Is there any more players
for sure
that we need to talk about?
There is one.
Okay.
We have to talk about An Se-young.
An Se-young. We always talk about An Se-young.
Yeah, but we like her on this podcast.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think we all do. Oliver, you like her?
Yeah, she hasn't been playing at all since the Olympics.
No.
She has been, but she's been pretty active, I would say, on social media, and she's in the news quite a lot.
I think it is one of the biggest stories that came out of the Olympics, is not only that she won, which was already insane, that at the age of 21 she has already won basically everything there is out there to win, but just as much the kind of backslash from her social media post where she was saying a few not so nice things about the Korean Badminton Association. So she was not very happy with the way she's been treated, not just at the Olympics, but in general over the last few years. And I know we've been discussing it before as well, that it's not very nice to see her play with that knee bandage for so long, and like they've been pushing her really hard to play tournaments when she's still been injured. And it's kind of like when she finally won that gold medal, she kind of let go and just told everything from her point of view, where she hasn't been complaining or saying anything before.
No, but I've been trying to translate some of her posts on Google Translate, and it's a little bit difficult to know exactly what it is that she's saying. But I think the first thing was like the way they managed her injury was not good enough. She's been, I don't know, more or less forced to play, where she wanted to take time off and focus on recovery and stuff.
Which I think has been obvious.
That's been obvious, and we have been talking about it multiple times. Like, for instance, she won, I remember she won the Malaysia Open in January, and then she traveled to India and had to retire there, and it was like, why do you...
And she even won Malaysia Open, like playing on, I would say, 80-90% with that knee.
But then there were some other claims about the way she's been treated in the Korean Federation, like, and correct me here if I'm wrong, was it something about she had to wash the other players' underwear? She had to clean the rooms? Or...
Yeah, she had to do laundry for other players, clean rooms for other players, restring her own rackets at the National Center, which of course sounds a little bit crazy for someone who's world number one. But I also have to say it's not like I'm completely shocked that it's happening. Because like, what is that now? 10, 15 years ago when I was at the Korean National Center training for a week with Joachim, actually, your former coach.
Nice.
Back then, the way the system worked was also that all the players, they stayed in rooms at the National Center, 2 and 2 together. There were no exceptions. So a guy like Lee O'Neill, who at the time was already a dad and married, he also had to do it. He stayed with a guy who was 19. They had to do all their own laundry. They had to clean their own rooms. They had to do all this kind of stuff. And it seemed like there was just like no exceptions, no matter what your level was like. But there was also this kind of hierarchy where it's like the older in training, they have more respect and they can speak up, and the younger ones can't really say much, which I think is probably a cultural thing. Where you have more respect for the oldest, where I think in Denmark, for example, it's much more like a flat hierarchy.
You were bullying me quite a lot when I first arrived to the training center.
But you deserve that, so yeah. But it's just to say that I feel like it's it's not so surprising that it sounds to me a bit outdated, because it was also like that back then. So when
having to do your own laundry and having to clean your room doesn't sound like crazy. I mean, I do that here in my apartment as well. But she had to do it for the other players, or she was like bullied to do it or forced to do it.
That's what the story goes on. Yeah.
Is this something that she has said like in an interview or just written on Instagram?
Yeah, I don't know. I read the same story, but I don't know if she said it. But I read also in the article that she already had a meeting also with her family, so her parents and the Badminton Association some months ago to try and resolve the issue. I know they also had meetings afterwards, but where they stand right now, I don't know.
No.
But I think it's pretty cool for a 21-year-old girl to stand up for herself this way. Even though she actually had to go and apologize after her social media post at the Olympics, because it took so much of the attention from all the other Korean Olympic athletes as well. So she had to apologize for that. But still, I think it's quite cool that she's standing up for herself that way.
Apparently she needed she needed to win everything first before she felt like she had like the authority to do stuff like that. But it's good, like a girl in her position is speaking up about such stupid behavior. Interesting to see if she's going to continue that's the playing thing. For the national like training center, or if she's trying to go independent or whatever.
They have a history trying to block players that go independent. So they were fighting with the Ko Sung Yun for a long time, where they actually ended up going to court. And I think they lost a court case, so they had to change the rules a little bit. And I think the rules now are that you cannot go independent if you're a male player until you're 30 years old. And I think it's 27 for women or female players. So, and obviously she's 21. So right now she's not allowed to go independent.
Crazy. That's crazy.
So we'll see.
I'm not a big fan of those rules.
No.
The fact that you cannot enter tournaments just for yourself, like just writing to the organizer and say, hey, I want to enter. You have to do it through the federation. And if you're on bad terms with the federation, then if the federation is really strict on those rules,
you're basically
those are the rules. Can we bleep that?
No.
He just
no.
I don't like the way Hans Christian is cursing and stuff.
No.
But that's crazy. But that's also going to be interesting to follow her. She has not been playing since the Olympics either. Well deserved break.
Yeah.
And I guess there's also been a lot of stuff for her to handle. So a stressful time, I would assume. But no, a lot of stuff is going on in the badminton world.
That's nice.
This is like a clean slate, a new 4-year period leading up to the LA 28, and it's going to be interesting to see how things will unfold in the upcoming 4 years.
Definitely.
So we'll be back in a few years, guys, with with an update. No, I think we should try to do it. I don't even want to say it, but it's difficult when we have so much to catch up on.
We record whenever we record.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go win the Denmark Open, and we still have an agreement that whenever you win a tournament, we do an emergency pod.
That's
So,
correct. We haven't even talked about the Denmark Open.
No, it's coming up.
It's coming up next week.
So watch it, guys.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great tournament. A Super 750. There's no more Super 1000 tournaments left this year. There is a Denmark Open 750, and there is China Masters 750, and then the World Tour Finals.
Yeah.
Interesting who qualifies as well. But
can you still qualify?
I hope I'll qualify. I think right now it's looking pretty good.
Okay.
I think I'm ranked top 4 right now.
Okay.
But it's difficult with this new, because back in the days it was like the best 10 results. Now it's like the best 14.
Yeah.
So not everyone has 14 results, and some has 14 results. So it's difficult to do the calculation, but I think for now I have 13, and I'm number 4 on the.
Okay.
And most of the other players already has more than 14.
So it's looking good.
It's looking fine. So I'll tailor a suit, try to get it in shape, and then show up for the World Tour Finals in Hangzhou. Red theme, maybe once again.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You know, it was red cords and everything.
I liked it. I like when it's different.
Me too.
So you remember.
Just not the gray match at the.
No, that was it was a good try, but nah.
I didn't
should
like
go
it
back
either.
to
But I
something
think they
else.
will continue with the gray.
Yeah, probably.
So guys, thank you for watching this episode of the Badminton Experience. We hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, the Badminton Experience. You can also go and follow Hans Christian. He needs some followers.
True.
You can follow me as well. I don't need it
Your new account.
as badly as Hans Christian. Yes, that's correct. I have a new account together with my brother. It's called Antonsen Brothers. You can go and follow that one.
That could be a nice name for like a boy band or something. The Antonsen Brothers.
Maybe that's the next step.
Yeah. Like the Handsome Brothers.
The issue is
Barcode Brothers.
The problem is that Casper has he's tone deaf.
Alright,
He can't hit a single note. I mean, he's
so he's the guy in the background and you're the lead singer.
yes. Bye guys. Stay tuned
Bye.
for the next episode.